Hey guys, my name is Maxi. I'm a Radiant player and coach, and this is the only Gekko guide you'll ever need. And I want you guys to know right now that he has an absolutely stacked kit. When it comes to rank, I personally believe Gekko is like S tier. He's got really familiar utility. His flash is like Reyna's, his molly is like KO's, his wingman is pretty much like Raze's Roomba, and his ultimate is like a Killjoy ultimate strapped on top of a Skydog. You can play him aggressively like a duelist, or you can be a little bit more supportive to set your team up for the win. With that being said, let's start breaking down his kit. Gekko's passive is going to be called Globules. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not the sharpest cookie in the cookie jar, but it pretty much means that every piece in his kit, with the exception of his molly, can be picked back up. So you can use all these different pieces of utility multiple times in a round. So remember, you don't want to be conservative with his utility. Remember this, it can help you win rounds down the line. So firstly, we're going to tackle his molly. It's called Mosh Pit and it costs 250 creds. This is a piece of utility that I mentioned earlier that you can't pick back up. It's like a molly that takes 3 seconds to wind up to explode to deal massive amounts of damage. Seriously, if you're in the inner ring, this will do 150 damage, so essentially just one-shotting you, while the outer ring does half that. The bright green is bad, and the darker green is bad, but not as bad. This molly is super versatile and strong. My personal favorite use is when executing a sight, I can toss it to clear annoying angles. For example, if you're hitting beyond a scent, you can molly logs right here and get a kill if you're going out. You can even learn attack lineups when you're hitting sight, just in case if you want to be a little bit more safe so you don't get mowed down in the entrance of the site. Also, if you happen to keep it, it's a wonderful piece of utility that can be used in a post-plant scenario. You can win a round by simply just waiting for the tap, yeeting the molly, and boom, free kill. Now let's talk about your wingman. This is your homie right here, and the coolest piece of utility in all of Valorant. At 300 creds, it has 100 HP and can concuss people for 2.5 seconds. After using Gekko's passive, you can pick it back up and it'll be ready for use in 10 seconds. This little dude can plant and defuse a bomb for you, which is like the coolest thing ever. Once you whip him out, you'll see this little purple outline and you can choose where to plant. It'll take a right click, but then you'll send him off on his way. This is extremely helpful and amazing for ranked because nobody wants to ever hold the spike. On top of that, it's really helpful to have your little dude planting while you have 5 guys with their guns out, rather than sacrificing one gun just because one guy has to plant. It's super helpful if you can get the benefits of planting in the open without having the risk. If you have a lineup, you can make them plant while you book it to get to your trusted pixel. This piece of utility is especially good for denying plant. It also works like a Raze Roomba. The fact that you can pick it up means you should be using this early to clear space for your team. Don't be stingy with it. You should be using his kit in segments. Now let's move on to his flash, which is called Dizzy. You get this one for free, and it's one of the strongest flashes in the game if used right. Using Gekko's passive, it's on a 10-second cooldown before you can use it again after picking it up. It has 20 HP, and it'll only flash a person once per toss. This flash is really cool because not only does it flash people, if you pay attention, you can hear how many people get flashed by it. The information that this flash brings is extremely valuable. When attacking, you can toss it early because your job as an initiator is to make it easier for your team to move around the map, push away the defense with this flash. It also has this added strength that the only way to not get flashed by it is to shoot it. It functions just like a Reyna flash in that aspect. You can toss it and peek with it just to force people to have 2 targets to shoot at. When you're executing sight, you can toss it high over the sight and it has this infinite range, so if they're in the line of sight, they're gonna get blinded for sure. Now lastly, let's talk about Gekko's ultimate, which is called Thrash. At 7 ultimate points, this is pretty much a Skydog that if it bites you, it'll detain you for 6 seconds, just like a Killjoy ultimate. It has 200 HP, and the cool thing is that you can pick it up with a 10-second cooldown. If people are bunched up and close together, that's multiple people getting detained for an easy round win. Just beware, you can detain yourself and your teammates too. So we're going to go into attacking strategies, okay? So you know how I mentioned earlier that you don't want to be stingy with Gekko's utility? I want you guys to look at his utility usage and break it down in segments. Remember, you can pick it up over and over. You can use it early, you can use it on site, you can use it more aggressively. So say you're going A main and you want to get A main control, and say you're going against a Jet operator who's just playing super aggressive, or there's a Reyna that's feeling his aim, he's a smurf, this guy's insane at the game, or say there's like a Chamber, he's got his ultimate pop and he's just going for shots right here. Something that you can do is just flash him off early. Use it early, just don't keep it in your pocket because your job as an initiator is to make it easier for your teammates to move around the map. So you're trying to take mid control, you can toss up like nice little high flash right here just to flash anybody who's being aggressive on this cat angle right here. Say he's peeking top here, say there's a guy peeking right here with an ob. It's gonna flash all these different angles. You want to push these guys back so you can get control of these little bits of the map. You can do the same thing on this side of the map too. Say that there's a Jet that's playing super aggressive on this cat area right here. You can just toss a nice little high flash just like this, still get some top mid areas like right around here, and you can still get the aggressive cat angle. This flash is going to be up here right in his eyesight. It's going to flash him off. It's going to force him to play a little bit more passive. Bonus points too. Say you guys have an op on attack side, you can flash this guy off right here. Jet right here is going to be forced to tuck, and then you can just post with the op and boom, take him out. And the same thing's going to apply on this B side right here. There's a lot of duelist mains that play really aggressive towards in here because you want to contest these neutral zones, right? Your job as an initiator is to counter this early aggression from these duelists in these neutral zones. You can use your wingman as a Roomba too. If you know somebody's playing really aggressive right here B main, you can toss this guy out like a raised Roomba pretty much and clear him out. You have a lot of different utility to push people off these angles. Gekko is a really good initiator. The same thing applies over here towards cat, for example. Say you want to get cat control, you have a feeling that someone's playing here aggressively with a shotgun, just toss it up the cat, get a nice little bounce. It should get everybody in this corner. Let's say that they smoked off cat, and then you know that somebody likes playing here the judge. So you're going against Dazners or something. You can send your little Roomba, get some info, peek out after him, just be ready to get your crosshair ready to peek if he peeks off somebody. You can clear a lot of space and get a lot of information. You also want to toss your flashes really high into the air. Make sure you're not tossing them over and getting them stuck. Make sure you're tossing them a little bit more behind, just so it falls down somewhere we can pick it up again. See? You can do a lot of these mollies on the fly too. Say they're poor, you can toss them like close mollies to this right side. Say they got a smoke right here, you can just toss a close smoke, just wait it out for the pulse, and then just take control of it afterwards. If you're gonna use his ultimate, make sure you go somewhere that's a little bit more close quarters. You want to give him as little time to shoot the thing as possible. For example, right here, if you go in the wide open and you try to get somebody at spawn, they're gonna have ample time to shoot at it. It only has 200 HP, so it's pretty easy to shoot at. But just remember, it takes more than 2 op shots, so this is an op's worst nightmare. Or you can just hold it down and just play towards B side or A side and just play standard, or you can play towards retake. And we're going to be talking about all these different things. So firstly, we're going to talk about being aggressive. So say you want to get control of B main right here. Something that I really like doing is as soon as the spawn barrier goes down, I just yeet out my molly right here. As soon as this molly hits, they have 3 options. They can submit B main, they can just sit in the molly and just die, or they can push out and then try to run into my crosshair, which would be easy pickings for me. So as soon as this wall barrier goes down, toss the molly, go out wide. I dare these guys. I want them to push through this molly and then like get really aggressive, because this should just be easy kills. You can pair this molly with a deep smoke right here, and they're gonna have to use a lot of utility to try to get B main control. And if they use all their utility to get B main control, that's less utility that they have to get B site. And so just like that, you can have an impact early on in the round by just being a little bit aggressive and just contesting points of the map. Something I like doing is just parrying a one-way like right here. You can do like a Brim or like an Omen one-way right here. You can do an Astra one on that side. And so as soon as the spawn barrier goes down, say that you're going to get the team that's really aggressive, try to make them fight for it. You can toss this molly, force them to have to peek here, and so you can just peek off the burst, and it's easy pickings. Say you're just holding down sight and you're just playing standard. Say you guys smoke B and then you just hear a lot of utility going out. Something I like doing is just flashing with my utility and peeking with it and trying to get 1 or 2 and just staying alive. You can molly your push right here, continue staying alive, just force these guys to have to like overextend and try to kill you. You want to stay alive for as long as you can for the whole cavalry to arrive. You want to stall for as long as you can. If you can manage it, toss a molly here, force these guys to have to push through or just sit behind it. My favorite way of playing is, say that there's a smoke right here, I just like jiggling it with my molly out pretty much. Just jiggling it, just daring them to try to go in. This molly is just going to just completely stump any execute or push that they're going to have. So as soon as this dart comes in, as soon as anything goes down, I'm just mollying, breaking what I gotta break, and then just peeking out afterwards. There's a good chance that they might jet dash and do all sorts of stuff like that, but then I gotta just deal with it as I go. You can do this in all these different parts of the map too. For example, I'm a big fan of playing towards cat, and so say they're just playing in this tree area, I just like jiggling it really safe. As soon as I see anything, any sort of movement, I just yeet the molly, dare them to try to push. I want to stop any momentum at all. You can do it on A side too. You gotta just jiggle just for any sort of information. The second you see a flash come through, a dart come through, a Reyna blind, as soon as anything goes off, any trigger, you can just molly and just try to stall any push. Let's say you're playing a little bit more passive and then you're just retaking. Something that I like doing is just having retake mollies, for example. You can have a lineup from like back here that completely clears out annoying angles that people sit in. That was first try. And so you can have all these different mollies that you can toss. It clears out really important angles as you guys are trying to retake site and save your util so someone can capitalize off it. I don't want any of you guys just tossing a flash for no reason. You want to toss this flash when there can be somebody peeking with it. You got to communicate with your teammates and get them ready. So say the bomb's planted and then you guys are getting ready to retake. Somebody's smoking A main and you guys are ready to just flood out towards this A heaven side. Something that I want from you guys is to just flash out and let your teammates know, I'm flashing out, retake off my flash. And so you guys flash out and there's 3 people jumping out, just retaking together at the same time. While they're worrying about the flash, they have to focus on shooting the people or the flash. So it's multiple different targets that they have to take care of at the same time. And so you completely overwhelm and flood them for an easy retake. Gekko's utility is insane. You can do the same thing with his ultimate pretty much. You gotta just communicate with the teammates, follow in off my ult, let's retake off it, and then you can just stun somebody. There's a good chance you might be able to get more than one. A lot of times people have to shoot, a lot of people just completely give up sight. There's all sorts of different things that you can do. The biggest takeaway that I want you guys to focus on from this video is to communicate your utility. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any feedback that you guys would like to share, just leave it in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel, and hope you guys have a great day.